Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Tonight's film is 1976's Swinging Sorority. Here it is, folks, Swinging Sorority. This is put out by Code Red DVD, kind of underneath of VCX, which is another company that I think primarily deals with adult films. Willing young co-eds eager to do anything to get ahead. Swingin' Sorority. Here it is, folks, on DVD by Code Red Entertainment. And from the VCX Vault. This is the back of it right here. Give a little picture. Now, it says in the back of this 1976. On IMDb, it says 1975. So let's get into this film. And that's the official poster, actually, folks. That was the poster that was released, you know, when this film was first released. If you can only imagine that poster there on the marquee. Swinging Sorority is essentially a film that deals with the teen sex comedy genre, the adult film erotic genre, and deals with kind of teen exploitation, school exploitation, kind of takes the elements primarily of a sorority, getting money for a dress, for a dance, for school, and making money at school, and your friends at school. It takes those types of easy tropes of the sex comedy genre, of teen exploitation genres and things like that, and does something different with them in an emptier, more muffled manner. So let's get into this film right now. This is quite an awesome film. I really love this film. I don't know if anybody else will ever say that, but here it is, Swingin' Sorority. Let's get into the film right here, folks. First, we got to get into the music for this particular film. The music in this film is a variety of elements. Number one, it is weird and disconnected feeling. Okay, there's a weird disconnection in the music for this film, and I made some notes up here on the wall, so you might see my eyes deviating. There's a distant emptiness. I mentioned that word empty before. There's a distant emptiness in the music. There's prolonged sections of silence in this film that is bizarre, almost off-putting, and something that you're not typically used to seeing in a film at all. There is funk music, almost adult 70s exploitation porno funk music. We have a section of almost public domain nursery rhymes in a club, bar, strip club setting. Wow. We have dramatic orchestrated music that could almost be, be at home in a 70s dramatic film or a 70s TV sitcom or show. Very bizarre in that orchestrated dramatic music there. We have almost some humorous, over-the-top type dramatic music that would be in like an old movie. So the music in this film and the sound design in this film really takes a lot of different forms and a lot of different aspects, and it is quite bizarre and off-putting at times. So we're going to get into this even more here. I want to get into the style of this film, the stylistic, the cinematography, so on and so forth. There's this one scene where there's this great close-up shot with a bed frame. As these two people are having sex, and kind of close up on their faces and on their mannerisms and through the bed frame. And at the bed frame, we have some mirror shots, which really kind of, take the form of a lot of erotic cinema. The mirror. A lot of people talk about the mirror being a centerpiece for horror films. But what a lot of people don't seem to talk about is how the mirror is a centerpiece for sex films, for the erotic, for sexploitation genres. We have a lot of interesting distant shots that stay there. We have a lot of faces in this film, a lot of close-up on faces. We have a lot of very drastic, very abrupt cuts in this film, in the editing fashion of this film. Very interesting cuts at times too, that even can play into a conversation that's happening on the screen, or a very kind of a piece of comedy in a way. I mean, black comedy, or something ironic, but very, very drastic cuts. This is a very low budget film. Okay, this is a very low budget film, and actually, if you look the film up, it is kind of classified into the adult film genre, into the porno genre. You know, if you look at the original film poster on a site like movieposter.com, you will see that it actually said adults only on the poster. Now, that was a phrase that was utilized a lot. And did this actually get an X rating? You know, on the back of the DVD, there is no rating on there, but it is part of the VCX Vault, which deals with a lot of porno films, adult films, which is going to tie us into the sexuality of this film. So let's get into the sexuality of this film. I review a lot of films on this page, like Cheerleaders, like Prison Girls, and some recent reviews that I've done, where I say that this is definitely you know, not an X-rated film, but it's definitely not an R-rated film. So I guess it would be like an NC-17 film, but it'd be a film where it's almost like they're definitely simulating an X-rated film in their sexual positions and motions and things like that. Like that film I did Wrong Way, also on the reviews. But you're not actually seeing it. In this particular film, I don't think there's any question that the people in the film are having sex or not. It seems like they're definitely having real sex, everybody in the film. And the sex is... Some of the scenes are somewhat prolonged in terms of, you know, having sex be the centerpiece of the film. Never boring to me, and quite erotic, you know, I would say at times. A very low budget. And here's the interesting thing about the sex scenes: they're explicit. You're seeing you know, erect male penises. You're seeing hands on the erect male penis, and you're seeing full nudity, obviously, men and women. And they are humping and doggy style and oral and all this stuff. But you're not seeing the specifics. It's not hardcore, but you couldn't call this softcore because these people are really having sex. And then you say to me, how do you know they're really having sex if you can't actually see it all going down? Well, number one, you know, hand job type stuff. That's not softcore. But number two, you get glimpses at times, and it's very explicit even without seeing the specifics. It is very sexually explicit even without seeing those specifics. For some odd reason, we have a couple shots that you don't typically see, like a Franco shot, some Franco shots of male buttholes. That's some very interesting stuff that you don't typically see. That very yeah, so you're seeing erect penises and things like that, and but then you see that, and then like in the last 15 minutes of the film, there are some sections that all of a sudden get specific in the oral sex territory, woman on woman. That's where you start to see some things up close and personal, not invasive, not opening up anything, so to speak, but you are seeing it more up close and personal. Now, the interesting thing is in this film you have orgies, you have lesbianism, of course you have heterosexual sex, you have strippers, you have sex for money, you have a lot of different elements in this film. This is a film that also mixes drugs, the drugs of the 70s, the drug trade of the 70s, with sex as well. This is a film that definitely you can hear in the background on a radio broadcast in one of the scenes. This is a film that definitely utilizes the free sex, the free love, the lack of conservative views of sexuality of the mid-70s. Okay. In this film, we utilize prom dances. We utilize very bizarre acting. Some people would call it bad acting. There's a girl in particular, this girl right here. Okay, some unknowns. These are all unknowns. That girl in particular, right there. I'm just completely enthralled by the way she acts, the way she speaks. Some people would call it bad acting. I love it. She has a certain way about her. You can tell these people were not actors, you know, per se. These were people who, there's so much mystery about this film. Like, if they're actually having sex in this film, but why wasn't it being shown like a porno, if you catch my drift? Now, this would by far, definitely be an NC-17 type of film, but the film is structured in a way like teen sex comedy without much comedy meets adult film. And it's a very weird, interesting mix, as though it was a porno or an adult film genre, but they were trying to maybe sell it to a market of teen sex comedy. Or so it's a very weird, interesting mix in that regard. It has a very weird, empty feel. Not just the music, not just the cinematography. And there is explicit sexuality in this film, but you're not actually seeing it, but you're getting glimpses of it, except in the last 15 minutes of the film, where you are actually seeing a couple shots. Now, all the women in the film are attractive. There might be some guys in this film that some of the women might find attractive who watch this film, and predominantly the first sex scene of the film, the guy who's very well built, for the ladies out there. But the women in this film, they all look young, they're all pretty, they're all sexually attractive, and these are some of the three of the girls that are actually in the film. This girl's pretty wild, I believe, in the last 15 minutes. But it is a film that is really kind of rare, hard to find. Code Red put it out, but then you can't find it on their website anymore. But I believe you might be able to go to VCX, and it's very bizarre because some porno torrent sites will have this film on there, and I could see some people who are looking for like a straight up adult film are going to be kind of disappointed by this film. You have, like I said, you're not seeing everything, although it is sexually explicit. Like, at the same time, I review a lot of Jess Franco films on this page, and Jess Franco films, a good portion of them, are much more sexually explicit than this film, especially, with his ones with the hardcore scenes and things like that. But this would not really be called a hardcore film. But at the same time, you're like, but it is an adult film, because it definitely feels harder than a sexploitation film. So this is a very, very unique film. It's a film that is not known, and from the cover you would think, oh, is this a sexploitation film, or is this a teen sex comedy, or teen exploitation, or school exploitation, or what is it? But folks, this is Swinging Sorority right here, folks, on DVD by Code Red. You could definitely find it in some form or fashion. And this was directed by the guy that did Hard Bodies and Saturday the 14th. It says so on the back. Don Trendle. Presented by Jeff Begun. I'm sorry. Yeah, and from Maverick Director. This is... So actually, it might be presented by the same guy that did Hard Bodies and Saturday the 14th. Really weird, and you gotta catch my drift here. I love it. It's weird, it's bizarre, it's sexy, it's erotic, and it's also just interesting. And if you like low budget 70s trash, as they call it, cinema, sleazy, you will love this right here. It's an oddity, and the ending of the film is very abrupt and weird, like a lot in this genre. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Please feel free to check out all my other reviews on this page, and please feel free to check out my own personal films at youtube.com/poopy diarrhea. Thank you, and good night.